Hello guys, welcome back to my channel, and in this video we're going to go over a summary of the November 10 livestream. To do that, we're going to use two things. The first one are the translated slides that BB Nick uploaded inside the Dev livestream channel and the November 10 livestream thread. So they're all in one place, so thanks so much BB Nick for uploading them all together so that they're easy to look at. And we're also going to use a summary that was generated by ChatGPT. I just took the transcript of the whole live stream, I fed it into ChatGPT, and I asked it to just create a summary with some key points that are very, very important. Hopefully it didn't leave out any relevant information. Just in case, check also the comments down below. If some people left some additional things that I forgot to mention, I will definitely pin those comments. I might even write some comments if I find anything that I forgot to mention. And when they release the officially translated content, I will double check it, and if needed, I will make an additional video. So that's kind of how this is going to work out. Before we start, I wanted to mention that if you go in the codes section on my Discord or in the link in the description box down below, you will see all the coupons that were released during the live stream. Some of them are pretty cool. We have 1 SSR Plus copy, 50 black market tickets, 10,000 orange evolution mats, and we also have a legendary ship schematic. Pretty cool stuff. But okay, that's it for the introduction. Now let's get started and have a look at what they actually talked about. The first slide is just the agenda. We don't care too much about it. Then there is already the first coupon. In the first slide here, they talked about the rewards from hard mode and also the barrier of entry for new and returning players. Fine. They didn't really say anything important. They didn't mention black market tickets, unfortunately. Just they are going to expand the rewards for clearing 150 and above in hard mode. And they're going to do that with an achievement type reward system. So the usual, when you clear a floor, you get a one-time reward. So it's not anything that would be added to the loot, unfortunately. And it's going to be retroactive. So if you already cleared those, you're going to get the rewards anyway. And rewards should be like blueprints for the ships and revolution currency. We don't know if that's all. That's what the summary mentioned. I don't think there will be black market tickets, but you never know. We'll see. So, okay, some more rewards for the very few people that are above 150. I don't think there are too many. Definitely there are some, because some people are tryharding hard mode. Like, there is nothing else to do anyway. So, could be good. We'll see. They will also extend this upgrade for above floor 200, but that's going to come later. Now it's just the section between 150 and 200. And they didn't mention anything else in the slide. There are some additional points here. Let me see if it's in the next one. No, it's not in the next point. So here they also talked about the new system that was supposed to come out in December 2024. That was postponed to, I think, June 2025. That was postponed to this month, so November 2025, which is now postponed again to January 2026. Hopefully this is the last time they postpone it. I really want the Soul Lotto system, Chamber of Souls, whatever they call it, to actually be released into the game, because this is the alternative to the Shinsu links. So you are not going to increase your links anymore. The cap should still be 1600. I don't think they're going to increase it, but you never know. Now you will have this new system that you can invest into your golds, Shinsu, and Link XP to provide some additional ways of growing. That's kind of what that is. We'll see in which ways. They said it was faction-based. They said it also allowed you to kind of alter the layout of your team, very much like the underground laboratory setups. That, as you can see, is not the usual 3 units in the front line, 2 in the back. Is a bit more varied. So that should also be added to the Chamber of Souls. We'll see. So yeah, there's that. Then we have another question on the PvP, people wondering what happens when there is no clear attacker. Because if you are an attacker and you time out, you lose by default. But for those modes like high rank arena, or I think also championship fights, when there is no clear attacker, is 2 teams fighting, they wanted to, like, people wanted to know what determines the winner, and they said it's the total HP number, not percentage. So if you have 1 unit alive, the enemy has 1 unit alive, your has 100% HP, the enemy has 80% HP, but their 80%, it's an higher like actual number compared to yours, they will win. So it's total HP value. Fine, I guess. So yeah, there's that information there as well. I just wanted to double check if there is anything else. Summons and constructs are not counted. So if you're summoning creature, their HP are not counted. Like are not, counted for the total amount of HP. And after the December patch, the exact HP number will be shown in the post-battle result. Okay, interesting. And then they also clarified the interaction between effect hit and effect resistance and accuracy and evasion. So there is a cap. Now these numbers, I think ChatGPT just made them up because I don't think they exist anywhere, to be honest. They would be very, very low. Maybe this is like 100% minus 15%, then it could make sense. Same for this one. But basically, once you have 350 evasion more than the enemy accuracy, you will have the highest possible dodge chance. That's it. If you have 400 more, doesn't change anything. If you have 600 more, it doesn't change anything. The max value is reached once you have 350 more. Same thing applies to effect hit and effect resistance. When your effect resistance is 300 higher than the enemy effect hit, then you reach the cap of the dodge chance for the status effect or the debuff. We don't know exactly percentage. Could be 85% here and 80% here. We just don't know for sure. So take that with a grain of salt. It's definitely not 15% and it's definitely not 20, but we don't know the exact number. So that's it. And let me see what else they discussed here. Okay, this section is completely worthless. They just shared some like ignition weapons that you can run on some characters and what they recommend. It's complete garbage for the most part, I would say. It's very weird shit, and you shouldn't really pay attention to any of this. This load is Barry, actually, and yeah, it's weird. Whatever, doesn't matter. Don't pay attention to that. They just say random bullshit. Then they also share with us the team compositions that people use the most. This could also be a bit misleading because maybe people are using some random garbage. And also, don't pay attention to what is written here in the summary. We'll probably have to change that because it said Viol Bam. I asked it to take the name from the translation and find the reference in the manhwa. And they probably got this Black March knight that is Bam, and they basically found the reference to Viol, but Viol is not mentioned anywhere here, so that is just whatever. But yeah, the core teams that have been used in the past months or whatever, I don't think they matter. I mean, you can look at them; they're probably already familiar to you, and it's probably mostly for PvP, I think. But yeah, it doesn't matter too much, I think. Then we also have sort of a case study where some people complain that they still lost even though they were way above the enemy. So they try to explain a bit the interaction with swiftness, effect hit, effect resistance, etc. And the core focus and the only thing they actually showed is the fight where you use Evelyn against the Revolution Bomb. You had like 450 link advantage and you still lost, mainly because Evelyn applied the 150 swiftness decrease on all enemies, so that Revolution Bomb was extremely slow, his animations were way too long, and he basically never took damage. He was perma-invincible, then you timed out and you lost because you were the attacker. Fine, we already know that weird interaction already, so there is nothing much to say there, and that's it. So we can, I guess, move on to the next point. They also cover some comps to counter the Ju plus Albelda combo in PvP. Some of them are known, like Tramray, and also the double Dawon plus data machining. I think someone already mentioned it to me in the past. It doesn't matter too much, I think, in general, what these comps are doing. Tramray is a good one. Add-on is decent, but I think it's not really going to work reliably because it's going to use the domain, and these two units are going to kill themselves while trying to attack Add-on. Fine. I don't know if it actually works as intended, especially you also have to snipe where they're going to place this comp. But okay, they just gave us some additional ideas. The Alfine one is probably the one I doubt the most. Just Alfine alone probably is not enough, but it could be a decent addition to some teams if we want to try her out. So yeah, there's that. Then they also mentioned the changes to the growth system, just to balance out how this happens. And they already made the changes we all know about when they decreased the cost up to level 1000. They already did that. And they also noticed that after making this change, the value of gold and Shinsu declined a lot. Only Link SP is the only thing gating you from getting your Link level up. And they might want to try to change that. Not too sure. We'll see. And what else? They also plan to adjust this, so probably the value of gold and Shinsu, in the new growth system that will come out on January 26. And that new system is the Soul Chamber we discussed before. So they will use the same type of materials. We'll see. Hopefully it's a good system. And what else they mentioned? That part is pretty much irrelevant, so let me check the summary to see if there is anything important. So they want to avoid universal stat buffs that affect all NPCs, because when you buff a unit, then you also have to face that buffed unit in hard mode and in normal adventure. So they also want to introduce a new growth system that here was translated as Transcendence. I think it was translated also as Super something, whatever. So it might have a different name. In reality, this is just the translation from ChatGPT. And it seems like it's going to allow you to upgrade specific characters, and it's very similar to like Revolution. So you have a new way to upgrade your units, which is not going to be implemented by enemies in hard mode and enemies in normal adventure. I am a bit scared for a few reasons. Obviously, we don't know what that is going to change on a kit, like a units kit, and we also don't know what this implies in terms of resources you will have to invest. This could be yet another way that they can make this whole system more pay to win. Hopefully that does not happen. Hopefully they give us enough materials to at least get some units to a decent point. But again, we'll see. We'll see. And they're also considering providing additional stats for units that you have fully maxed out your evolution for. So for the units that you have a rate frame around, you might also get in the future some bonus stats. I hope they don't implement that. It doesn't sound good. I think it's pretty stupid, but we'll see. Because I don't want to be forced to invest on useless stats just to get some bonus ones. Unless the bonus stats are irrelevant, then okay, whatever, do whatever you want. But if you have very important stats, I would hate that. It would be too expensive and not affordable for a lot of players. But okay, that's it about that point. Then I think some of these were not written, or maybe they were here in the presets, actually, yes. So here we have a suggestion about the Trescent facility and the presets for PvP, for the ignition weapons. So for Triessence facility, they're going to keep the presets at 3. They're not going to increase them, which I think it's fair. It's fine. And for ignition weapons, unfortunately, it seems like they're going to keep them at 80. I would have liked for 200 or so, since we can make so many presets now. I don't want to, every time I have to swap the ignition weapon of a unit, like have the need to make a preset, then test a new set. And if it's garbage, I can revert back to the preset and then delete it, because 80 is a very low number. It's really annoying to manage all of it. But they said for limits on their backhand, they cannot do it. So we'll see. And let me also double check if they mentioned anything else. Unified claiming for ranking archive rewards, that would be cool. Instead of having to click every single one of them, to have a claim all button would be pretty dope. We'll see. And then what else they have here? Teammate balance. This is also the thing we mentioned before here with the new growth system, the transcendence, whatever. And also the fact that they won't really buff units too much because then you have to face them in hard mode. So yeah, there are those points there. Then we have a point about stage balance. What are they saying here? They want the Tower of Union flow of the Divine Beast gimmick provided negotiated for each stage. Now, okay. I think this whole point here is about the energy decrease floors that people struggle with because they are actually quite difficult. And they said that they don't plan to add any more annoying debuffs than that, and that the cap should be 80% energy decrease. And they will also plan to release some ships to counter those mechanics. All of that is not written here. I asked it to ChatGPT directly afterwards a few questions to see if it could find the answer in the notes, and it seems like they're telling you to use active skill based units or basic attack based units with Sundance, or they're going to release a ship that will probably increase the energy regen or decrease the efficacy of debuffs on you, something like that, so that you can more easily clear them. They also talked about in the future to nerf these type of floors, to maybe add a delay to it so that you don't lose out on the energy from from Rainbow 5, and all the other initial energies, so that you can set up your skills and then the debuff will apply. So they will delay it a bit. Not sure when that's going to happen. Definitely not in the next update, I feel. But yeah, we'll see. Then what else? A new coupon code, fine. The alliance content. For this one, they will try to implement a quick battle in the exploration war. This one should be the alliance expedition. I don't know if they mean only the section where you fight all the islands and stuff, or also the fight against the boss. Quick battle against the boss would feel a bit off, but you never know what they cook. They won't give it to you in adventure, but they will give it to you in bosses because they're stupid, but fine. And one interesting change that they're planning is that when you do your practice mode, if you have a good score, you can decide to keep that and make it the official clear. So that could be an interesting addition, I would say. And they also plan to add more stuff to the Alliance shop, like cosmetic items, probably not skins, but you never know, titles, and temporary buffs that you can buy. Also some Alliance-wide buffs that maybe the Alliance leader can purchase, and they will give a buff to the whole Alliance for a certain period of time, which would be pretty cool, I think. Then what else? Gigaboss rewards, I don't think are too important to talk about. Instead of giving them only to the MVP, they will probably change it based on contribution and stuff. Fine, doesn't matter. Then they also plan to add some reset features to Adventure. When you are winning a round, you want to then move a unit to make it easier to only move the units you need instead of resetting everything. Something like that is not 100% clear, but okay, it doesn't matter too much, just some quality of life for adventure pushing. Then some people asked about the teammate releases. They want to release all significant characters, and they will try their best not to release overlapping colleagues or units here. So that means they will prioritize releasing units that we don't already have. So an SSR plus variant would seem more unlikely, but then soon after they mentioned SSR plus Endorsey as a potentially new unit. So I was like, you just said you're not going to release overlapping characters, and then you mentioned Endorsey that we already have 3 of in the game. But it is what it is. They will also plan on releasing units of different elements, a different role in succession. So instead of going green, green, potentially another green, they will do different colors. Instead of doing support, support, they will do support, tank, whatever, different roles so we don't have the same type of unit back to back to back, which is the way it should have always been, but okay, fine. Then some more changes to PvP is just some additional tweaks to Colosseum, High Rank Arena, Train Arena. I don't care too much. I don't think many people will care, but fine. Then we have a new ship system, or a new ship actually, a new SSR Plus ship. That is the Tempest Hawk. Let me see if we have the information here. Should be this one, yeah. Okay, so basically they're going to release a new ship on December 12, which is weird. I think there should be a new one already, like on November 12. Very weird that I mentioned this, to be honest. And that is going to be a green element ship that is going to increase the swiftness of the green element allies and reduce the swiftness of the blue element enemies, which is an interesting effect. And the fact that it is color specific and that they're going to release only one at a time, it's annoying. If they were to release all 5, yes, it's harder to get the one you want, but at least we have some variation. If it's only green, feels very off. They also mentioned that they're going to do stuff like maybe role-specific ships, so all supports will get a certain buff, or all ranged units will get a certain buff. So they plan to do it element-based, damage type-based, that are the ones that we already have, and also role-based. Those are going to be probably the main categories. They don't want to do anything that is universal for all units. So all ships will have some conditions that you will have to meet if you want to get the buffs, which is fair, I guess. They really started with trashy ships, to be honest, very bad ones. Now, hopefully, they can get some better ones in, and it could be decent. They definitely need to increase the supply, which it seems like they're doing with the hard mode rewards that I mentioned before. So it could become a somewhat okay system. Not a big fan of it, but there is potential now. And that's it. Then we have a new code, fine. And here we have a very important thing for new players. That is this section here, new content and characters. They are going to rework entirely the missions. So you don't have the same requirements as before. You're not forced to max white. You're not forced to max any specific unit. And that's great, which means if you start on November 12, you're going to have a way easier time progressing because of a lot of reasons. And I will definitely start a new account on November 12 so that I can go through all the new systems that are implementing. They're expanding the pool of units. They're removing the 3 non-stop banners. You will have only one with 1600 total summons, and you can probably change the pick, obviously, which is going to be massive. The pool of units should be increased, and that's really a good change. They're also removing the non-stop SSR banner from what they said, and you will get a lot of SSR free copies here and there, which is pretty cool. So we'll see, guys. There is a lot of potential here. Probably new players will have an even easier time. And when you start on November 12, you already have access to Urek banner, which means you can max out 1 or potentially 2 SSR Plus unit with a non-stop banner. Then you can max Urek. You can max the new EX unit that will be released on November 26, which is Luslec. And that's a great, great start. So I will create this new account. I will go through all the beginning stuff. And I will probably do the giveaway if I can actually put it off and max all of the units that I want to. I will do a giveaway of the account probably for the 2.5 anniversary, something like that. So stay tuned for that if you're interested. And I would say we can move on to the next points. There is nothing in the summary for Robadon. Basically, what they mentioned is that it seems to have max HP damage on the special move. It should be on Revolution. So it could become a very tanky unit with a lot of damage. I don't know how to feel about that, to be honest. it seems like they're going to make him busted so that you can, like, to force you to pull for him, and then you have less tickets for Luslec. That seems to be their plan. And again, not a fan of that. I would recommend skipping skipping on this guy if you're short on resources. Do your best to just get Luslec maxed out. That's probably your first priority. But okay, so for Robadon, we'll see better once he's released. Then we have, okay, the improvements to the Colosseum Arena, we don't care. World rankings, we don't care. Magic and physical type information when deploying a ship added. Okay, fine. Daily and weekly applied on 11/17, monthly applied on 1/12. Store reorganization. Okay, we'll see. Secret equipment, completed full breakthrough or will pickup character. Goods are awarded when you acquire a pickup companion. Okay, so if you already have all the units in the secret equipment maxed out, they're going to give you some rewards to you. This part was also omitted here, I think, but fine. Then we have what we have here, the labyrinth. Okay, some additional rewards for the rankings. And this is the new secret equipment lineup. We already mentioned that in the previous video. Then they did some buffs to Alocasia and Rafflesia. And let me see if we have them here. No, probably not in the summary. These buffs are interesting. This is a screenshot that I took when the live was going. I had the subtitles on. And basically, Rafflesia seems to also apply an energy decrease on enemies whenever they apply a status effect to you, which could be interesting, but at the same time, definitely not enough. And Alocasia will give you additional evasion, and they will expand more in the evasion concept. And when you fully stack your evasion, which I think they also mean the physical peers, they're going to further increase your evasion, which is probably a bit too much. Like in hard mode, they have so much accuracy, this is probably never going to apply to you. And in normal adventure, you can easily get to 350 more than the enemy accuracy. We already know there is a cap to how much you can dodge. So at the end of the day, this is not enough survivability. Could be decent on units like Hugo, because if you have, I don't know what the actual number is, as we mentioned before, but if you have an 85% chance to dodge all attacks, then her shield will last basically forever. She becomes unkillable. So it would be pretty massive on her, but we don't really know. Then there is one additional thing that was cut off here, but pissed me off so much, because they said that Mago and Barry will not receive a buff because they're already strong enough. I get it, for Barry, it's fine. Mago sucks. Mago is fucking terrible. How in the world can they say that Mago is already good enough? Like, I was looking forward to Mago buff like crazy for Cha, for Rashut, for Gustang, potentially for Chomray. Like, if they gave a survivability buff to Mago, that would have been massive. The current Mago is fucking garbage. I really don't understand them. I think they don't really play their own game. That pissed me off a lot. I hate that, but fine. So let's move on to the next part. Okay, to coupons. Then we have a new reward login. I think this is what they also mentioned here. Okay, they addressed the point about collab that people always ask. They said we would have to make a new contract, so no reruns, blah, 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 blah. Okay, fine. And then they add a new check-in event, where you can get copies of a lot of SSR Plus units and also 4 SSR units. If you already have the max, then you get a different reward. That's pretty cool. I mean, we get some very interesting units early on. We get a free copy of EVA, which is not too bad. The first stall tank is fairly down the line. Let me see, actually. They didn't even give a copy of Data Machine in Zahard, so we'll see. But there are some very good units in here mixed. Also, Beta Zero Dupes is really valuable. Chat Zero Dupes is really valuable. So this is not a bad addition. You can have a pretty complete roster, even though most of them would require copies. But okay. I mean, it's a nice event. It's always good. So if you start out on November 12th, you're going to get a lot of free SSR Plus units. Then we have Luslec as the new unit that is going to be released, the new EX unit. It's going to be a purple unit. We don't know anything about the role. Could be mage, could be assassin, could be tank, could be whatever. Really, they could make him whatever they want. I would hope for him to be mage, but we already have a EX mage. I don't know if they want to do that. Shouldn't matter, but you never know. Also splash arts and stuff. The event again with the two factions that you can pick one and get some rewards. That's pretty cool. So this guy is going to be pretty massive. In the summary here, we have some information that is going to have heavy debuffs and some burst potential. So that gives me quite a lot of hope. It might end up being a very strong unit. Then there was a typo here or something that is an irregular, is not. So, okay. Then they added some skins, some bunny skins for Sharon, Albelda, and Evelyn. And yeah, well, let's skip on to the next points. I'm sure a lot of people will get them. They're pretty cool. Fine, whatever. They are also adding a birthday event for main characters, so important characters in the story. The first one is going to be for Kun, and they're going to do it on November 29. November 29. And this will let you pull for all the Kunageros that we have in game. So SSR plus Kun, SSR Kunagero, the purple one, and Ice Spear Kunagero. This is an interesting concept. We'll see if we get some free copies. We'll see if we get a banner with very good rates for them. No clue, but it is definitely a good addition, I think. So it's interesting. And then let me see, the slides are over. Let me see in the summary if there is anything else that is important, because I think also some of these points were mentioned before, but they are somehow lower here in the summary. So we have the Chamber of Souls. We already mentioned the new growth system in January 2026 that will be connected to the Shinsu links and will use the same resources. Then we have Transcendence that will allow for specific characters to exceed the standard limits and enhance them. Now, I hope these standard limits doesn't mean just increase your links. That would be stupid. I don't think so. Probably, again, a Revolution similar system with maybe different stats. And okay, then we have a very quick roadmap overview with hard mode, reward expansion, PvP HP display, airship, and meta changer units. Okay, we have Luslec, Kunagero birthday, Transcendence system in December, Chamber of Soul in January, quick battle in the Alliance expedition in early 2026, and the 2.5 anniversary in Q1. I don't know why they said Q1 instead of January, but fine. And then in the remark, whatever they said, let me see, will deepen combat diversity. They said that with Luslec. And let me see. Floor 80 will be the last Abyssal stage expansion with future challenging content focusing on mechanic rather than pure stat walls. Floor 80. Not sure what they mean. Maybe they mean energy reduction 80% will be the last annoying debuff, and then they will try to do something else. I don't know. Weird. Then some key takeaways. We have that Luslec officially joins as EX tier. Okay. Growth sustainable for both new and veteran players. Yeah, we'll see about that. The two new systems. And devs remain committed to visible fairness and transparent communication, blah, blah, blah. Okay, yeah, sure. So yeah, the usual garbage and whatever they want to say and never deliver kind of talk. But yeah, this is kind of the summary for this update. And they also mentioned, which was not really added anywhere here, that there is going to be one additional way every month to obtain the SSR Plus Breakstone. So the one that we're getting via code, this one here, they're going to give it to us once per month additional. We'll see. Could be interesting, or maybe it was once per update. I'm not too sure what's going to happen there. But yeah. This is basically all, guys, for the live stream. Let me know in the comments what you think about this, or if I missed anything, feel free to leave that down in the comments so that I can pin the comment and other people can see it. And I will see you guys tomorrow in the sort of my plans for the new account type of video. Thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys then. Bye.